Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP, some Bitcoin, some liquidity, Velo data, and Sigma coin. All right, so checking in. Let's go over just a quick recap on what we saw as far as the XRP price action going into yesterday. So what we did is we ended up having a completion of our 5-way move off the lows. Okay, that was an impulsive breakout from the low level that we actually saw happening here. And this breakout 5 waves ended up completing, taking us up just shy of the equal measured move of the $2.71. So then we had a rejection of a WXY correction, or a flat structure, where we went ABC down, ABC up, and then a 5-way move to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big old fifth. So that was a big guy right there. So now we're already starting to work impulsively off the lows. And so this violent smackback basically came within pretty good range, but we came and primarily found support at the 786 with a wick below, and started then moving back out of this range. And as long as we didn't cross the $2.32, this maintains the wave 1, wave 2 structure of our next larger wave 3 that we're moving through. So this is your wave 1 and 2, and now all this is your wave 3 move that's beginning of the next leg. So this is going to be wave 1, wave 2, and then we move 3 easily up to the 1618. And then we also have a continuation of the 3 finishing here at in the $3 plus range, and so on and so forth. So that's the plan of attack. That's what we're doing here at the moment. And Bitcoin also had the same structure play out here, where it did its ABC off the lows, a 5-way move off the lows, an ABC correction, and then a 5-wave impulse as well, just like XRP did. And from there, we ended up having, again, a flat where we went ABC down, ABC up, and then a 5-wave move to the downside to complete wave 2, getting within a moment's completion here. As long as we didn't go below 106, 101, we didn't. We stayed at 106.3. So my goodness, they brought that right to the edge for a wave 2, because a wave 2 correction can take back the entire move of wave 1. So this now is an impulsive structure. That this little kind of structure that we're getting here is actually a bullish one. And so we should just continue to see this grind higher. And we've got an example of that kind of behavior right here. So you can see how in XRP, this kind of chop move worked its way off the lows and continued higher as it just kept setting higher lows, I mean. So we're just going to see higher lows as long as those continue coming in, and we see those setting up where we aren't crossing below the prior low. Then this should maintain its bullish structure and continue higher out of this low lows that it hit here today. So now looking here at XRP itself, we are moving. Oh yes, so let's go back into this fractal. So we knew that we were going to be doing a 5-wave move off the lows. Okay, what we didn't know was how aggressive and pullback this was going to be for our price action. So imagine that this is wave 1, wave 2, and then you have the completion of wave 1, wave 2 right here, and we're in this zone now, getting ready to ascend and move up and out over the coming days. So but yeah, that was much bigger correction than what we had in this really impulsive structure. But if you zoom out and you think of this rather than just a very long move, this is just a big move, right? So this is our wave 1 and wave 2 of the next leg. This wave 3, 4, and 5 is going to be extremely parabolic off the lows here. So now, what's also fascinating beyond this count that we're kind of anticipating to play out is the XRP 48-hour liquidity. Here you go, all the way back up to 261, and even into the 270s is where a ton of the liquidity is. And it would be great to see this break out and blast through the 270 region and start confirming our pivot level, which is this 271 level. So if we can get back up into here and even into here, and continue moving into the high 2s, that would be an extremely bullish behavior. And the anticipation is that this just keeps chopping its way higher and higher and higher, just like we were hoping that we'll see here on Bitcoin, as it just chops higher and higher and higher. So now Velo data, how are we looking on this? As this loads here, what we're going to end up seeing for the Velo data is a closure of more shorts. There it is. So this will refresh here. There we go. So the short interest that we have on XRP right now has, well, actually the open interest in general, this entire region has been extremely healthy for the level that it's in. And you can see that I've highlighted here in these yellow circles every time the short interest closed. And what we note here is that price action went down, so did open interest, but the open interest slant ended up going bullish. Then price action fell down, and we actually shortened the amount of open interest through this whole region as price continued to fall. And then price action, then you can see this big huge one came as price action went lower. That was even more shorts closing through here as open interest, actually this was shorts piling in because the open interest increased, and then they got out of the way. They're like, no, never mind, as price action happens. And we even have more capitulation of shorts through here. Now we're actually starting to move higher, and this little guy right here is a cool one to see because retail is showing up to the party. So they are identifying that it is time to buy, and you can see market buys stepping in and grabbing price action, along with the velo data closing, leading to it skewing longs again, even though it's just the shorts closing, not a ton of longs piling in, because we can see the overall open interest is decreasing. And we're still extremely healthy in the open interest, super healthy. So we were way elevated, smack back down, took out all the crazy leverage in the system. Now we got up underneath the healthy level, and we're still staying below it, as now we're going after the shorts. So the ultimate answer is that this guy right here is that retail is now buying again, or at least looking to buy. So that's a huge advantage. And you can see that we have healthy open interest going into that setup there. So, yes, I expect this to be a continuation. And then finally, Sigma coin is also telling us the same story here. We had our liquidity gap that we were monitoring and watching, and we have basically filled it with a large deviation out of this wedge back into the wedge, which is common on your falling wedge patterns. You can have a deviation outside of it as long as you reclaim it. So this is kind of the area that we expected to come back down to and hold above our level of 105. And you can see that now people are already starting to show up and buy right where we expected it to come down to, which is that wedge area there. And it did it also with a flat structure, I believe. Let's take a look here. And yes, it did it with a 5-way move down, ABC up, and then another 5-way move. So this is more of an ABC total, but you can kind of see how it looks like a flat. So this corrective move is now in for Sigma, and I would expect that this meme coin will now start outperforming heavily right off of this trend line backtest. So breakout, and now a backtest of a wave 1, wave 2, and this should be the impulsive structure that we need to get out of here. And what I will be also acquiring more Sigma here at these levels, because this is probably our last discount sale that we were expecting with this gap closure, which we can now safely say is basically done at this point. So yeah, so there you go. So that is your check-in here on Sigma, seeing the fact that it is now moving through the correction right when XRP gets done, and our 3-day RSI still has time to flip positive if we have a bullish day today. So then velo data recapping this, healthy OI, turning long, buyer stepping in, but it's because it's turning long, not because liquidity is showing up, but instead because we have shorts closing. And then the liquidity to the upside is all shorts, easily taking us back up into the 261 to 268 range. And then finally, we have a modeled behavior of how we just kind of grind out of here. And then we finish with Bitcoin continually setting higher lows, getting ready to swoop and move higher, and XRP itself working on closing a quick gap, it looks like, here at these levels. And we can expect it to probably play around here, maybe, yeah, because that one's kind of closed. So probably play around here and just work on chopping through this area as it continues its march up the mountain. So, all right, thanks so much for watching this morning, and we will check in tomorrow.